Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. It has been a busy day as Nigeria celebrates Democracy Day and second anniversary under President Bola Tinubu's administration. June 12 activities started with a nationwide broadcast, and the president assured Nigerians that the ongoing national reforms were not meant to inflict pain on citizens, rather to fix the economy. He promised to send the executive bill on the new minimum wage to the National Assembly soon.
With open arms, we've organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less.
Earlier today, President Bola Tinubu was the special guest of honor at the Eagle Square in Abuja, venue of the Commemoration of Democracy Day, where he inspected the military parade and signed a register in a symbolic honor to the significance of the day.
The second Democracy Day commemorated in the life of the Bola Tinubu administration. This is also significant because he was personally at the forefront of the struggle for democratic governance after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election.
The 12th day of June 2024.
In his Democracy Day state broadcast, the president acknowledged the prevailing hardship caused by necessary economic reforms, but assured that it will soon be over.
I understand the economic difficulties we face as a nation right now. Our economy has been in desperate need of reform for decades. It has been unbalanced because it was built on the flawed foundations and over-reliance on revenue from exploitation of oil. The reforms we have initiated are intended to create a stronger, better foundation for future growth.
At the Eagle Square in Abuja, venue of events commemorating Democracy Day, top government officials were in attendance, including other invited guests and the diplomatic corps. They all share in the president's strong belief that democracy is the best form of government, despite obvious challenges.
Today, 25 years after democracy, since we started democracy, these lessons is that the ideals that we encapsulated in the Farewell to Poverty, which was a title of the manifesto of June 12. I was part of the team that crafted that manifesto in 1993. The ideals espoused in that manifesto is what this current government, led by the president, who was an integral part of it, is implementing.
Well, the message of renewed hope, as the president has said, it's a message of us thinking backwards, looking at the sacrifices that our heroes in the past, paid, for us to have the freedom, the democracy that we enjoy today. The president was very clear in his speech earlier today and was very explicit.
And the assurance we are giving to Nigerians is that by this time next year, they will see more evidence of good governance, more evidence of our unity, more evidence of the leadership of President Bola Tinubu.
As the content of the new national anthem has said, we should all work together to serve Nigeria, and then we should be proud of Nigeria, to work together so that we can build a Nigeria that we will be able to hand over to our unborn children.
The military parade was an interesting and captivating display of prowess and precision. They marched in quick and slow order and also performed a silent drill to thrill the special guest, President Bola Tinubu. A giant-sized portrait was unveiled in honor of the president, and there was also a cultural performance by the National Troupe of Nigeria, depicting Nigeria's unity in diversity.
Beyond these kind of military drills and other fanfare that have become typical features in commemorating democracy and other national days, President Bola Tinubu's message to Nigerians is to keep hopes alive as his administration works to ensure democracy works for all. Femi Akonde,
TVC News, Abuja.
Femi Akande joins me now from Abuja for more on this. Femi, it's been a day full of activities celebrating 25 years of unbroken democratic governance in Nigeria. Tell us more about this and the president's message of hope. All right, we'll get back to Femi in a moment. But I have with me here in the studio a June 12 activist and former chairman, Amu Ward of Indokul government, Ayodele Adewale. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And happy Democracy Day to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Democracy Day.
Because, you know, you are one of the June 12 activists. And I would like you to just really share with us your story, you know, that struggle for democracy in Nigeria, eventually having June 12 recognized as a National Democracy Day, and now celebrating 25 years of unbroken democratic governance.
Wow, we wouldn't have enough time to talk about it, but I would say it started from the SAP riot. You know, I was in St. Gregory's College, and the riot broke out, and we had to write SAP on our shirt. And I remember I walked from Obalende down to Festac Town on the road. Moving forward many years after, the 1993 elections came, and that was the first time I casted my vote. I went with my dad and my mom, and we all stayed on our line. Our line was very long, and I also remember the song, that nostalgia song, on the march again, looking for Mr. President, on the march again, MKO, he's our man. You know, we little ones were singing everywhere, but it was a very sorrowful event because in the evening of that day, General Babangida was on TV and the election was annulled. And the following day was riots, burning of tires, shooting people, and all that. Moving forward, I gained admission into the Lagos State University. I was coming to campus on this fateful day, and I saw a group of people under the tree. We call it Abegi at LNH. I saw a man under the tree addressing the student, and behold, it was Chief Gani Fawemi. You know, I would go to school there with my camera. I love taking pictures, and I took picture of him. And the Operation Sweep came into campus. It was unprecedented. They would rather stay outside the gate. They wanted to arrest Chief Gani Fawemi, and they were shooting tear gas and shooting into the air. And the student had to whisk Chief Gani Fawemi away to safety and take him out of campus. Then I joined the student union parliament. I exchanged my lab gown, you know, my lab coat for the academic gown of the parliament as a 100 level student. And I ran for election in 200 level and I became the president of the union. And I also carried on the struggle as a then. And S.O.B. Agumbiade was president before I became, and I remember that he had launched in working with Onitiri Abiola, they launched Youth Honestly Demand for Abiola as against Youth Honestly Demand for Abacha, which was launched by Daniel Kanu. As a then, he wanted to organize a 1 million-man march for Abacha, so we had to counter him. And we started moving from state to state, you know, with our 1414 bus. I remember we were going to Ife, there was no headlamp. So we drove the bus around 10 to Ife. And the moon came to our rescue because by the time we got to Ibadan, we couldn't go further, but the moonlight, you know, everywhere was very bright, and we drove to Ife. And the Ife people had locked the gate, so I had to come down from the bus, try to open the gate. And if you know the Ife gate then, it was a dwarf gate, and it had sickles on it. So I pulled it. While the bus was coming in, the sickle was almost taking away my rib. So I had to, you know, escape it a little bit, and we continued, you know, with the advocacy. It's been a struggle. And all that, and the rest is history.
The rest indeed is history, and I can say you're an embodiment of the struggle yourself. And you're looking at one of the points that the president raised during, you know, the Democracy Day dinner, which ended just a while ago. He spoke about the unity of Nigeria, and he did, you know, mention the fact that our complexity and diversity are actually the best routes to success. How do you say we harness these?
You see, the unity of Nigeria actually lies on our different nationality groupings, different understanding on the concept of unity, on the concept of togetherness and individuality. And that is what makes us strong, because there's always a common denominator, which is love for country. And that's why you see Nigerians all over the world, they keep excelling. And whenever they find themselves, the bond is much stronger than it is while they're here in Nigeria. And every Nigerian have been given a God gift in them. And that is why in any retrospect that you find Nigeria taking advantage of that process, you see them towering very high. I don't want to say even in criminality, you see them going very high. Academics, they go very high, sport and all of that. But the love for country is more in-depth in us. And I think that was what the president was talking more about, that we should look more on our togetherness in trying to build the country. Yes, it's laying the foundation for a more robust economic structure that will not be hinged or will not be supported by some invisible forces, or it will be piloted by the prevailing contemporary realities that any economic foundation should be put on. And I believe as we journey on that things will get very, very good for our economy.
Well, that's the hope that many Nigerians have, and the president has said that he would send an executive bill on the minimum wage, and it will be something that Nigeria can afford. He stressed that also. Okay, thank you very much for talking to us. June 12 activist and former chairman, Amu Ward of Indoko Government, Ayodele Adewale. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's now turn attention to